Welcome back. 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 Okay. Welcome in. Please close your heads. Close your heads, Lord. Please bow your heads. Close your eyes. Listen to the prayer. Open your ears. Open your hearts. And just listen and pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for a moment to be in front of and with your children again, Lord. Thank you for allowing me the space and opportunity to proclaim your words, your goodness, and your grace. Thank you for moments in time for me just being able to relax with you and to hopefully show your word in a way that reaches somebody's hearts. And so, Lord, I just ask that, first of all, you would forgive me for all of my sins, knowingly and unknowingly, that you would forgive us for all of our sins, Lord, and that you would just rest with us. I ask that you will anoint me, that you will let your wisdom flow over me, and that as I speak, it's nothing about me and all about you, your glory, your grace, your goodness, your omnipotence, your power, your restoration, your healing, Lord. May it all be about the Lord. And I just ask that you would use me as a willing vessel, Lord, and that you would go before me, and that you would talk to your child and get your point across. Please reveal to them what it is you want them to know and take away from this, Lord. And thank you for just giving me an opportunity to speak, Father, and to share your good news with the world. And so, Lord, I ask for blessings upon the one listening, asking that you would rest with them, Father, that they may behold you and see you in a new way, Lord, that they may have moments with you that change their lives forever. Please bless them in every area of their life. Please mend any broken hearts. Please clean any open wounds, Lord. And Father, we just love you and we thank you for everything you've done for us, Lord, and even the things that we cannot see that you've done for us so freely, that you've given for us. Thank you, Jesus, for it all. And Father, all these things I thought to ask for, but didn't. I ask you granting your grace. In Jesus' name I do ask and pray. Glory be to God. Amen. All right, babes, welcome back. I hope you've been well. I hope you've been super well. So I'm gonna slip this in here because it is like 3 in the morning, 3:30 to be exact. And usually when I do my podcast, it's hours before at like 11 at night. But y'all, I had a day where I just felt like complete garbage, bro. And I didn't even know how I was gonna get this done, but the Lord woke me up and was like, okay, what we gonna do? And I don't know, y'all ever get so excited to do things for the Lord that you're like, okay, I'm feeling this now, like I need to do this now. So I'm trusting and believing like this is just the time it's meant for me to do it. But hello, welcome. I hope you've been well. I hope I won't be before you long, but we never really know. Now, do we? We never really know. And so tonight's discussion is called Fight For It. Now, this is going to be another one where I do a shorter video devotional and testimony for Wednesday Wellness. So if you would like to go and see the shorter video, then you can, because on that one, though I'm talking and saying this stuff, the imagery will actually be my testimony. It'll be a weight loss testimony. And so we're going to get into it. I'm very excited to tell you about the things that the Lord has revealed to me and placed on my heart. And so first, the story that we're going to talk about is Jacob and the angel of the Lord. You remember how I was telling y'all that story? So let's get into it. So Jacob is the son of Isaac. Isaac had Jacob and he had Esau. Okay. Now, Isaac comes from Abraham. Abraham was like our forefather. He kickstarted this thing off with the Lord. Well, Adam and Eve kickstarted it off. But you get it. Like, after that happened, next on the scene is Abraham. And this is who the Lord chooses to establish his covenant with and, bring about the promises and the Messiah. And so Abraham has Isaac, and Isaac is like the one who the covenant is gonna come through. And then Isaac is blessed. Isaac was the one who the servant went to go get, his bride for him, and it was Rebecca. And they were having a beautiful life. So now they have a son, Jake. Well, they have two sons, Jacob and Esau, twins. Now, Esau, because he was the firstborn, he was the one who was supposed to inherit the promises of God. But Esau sold his birthright, and Esau was basically conned out of the blessing because, well, if you don't know, because I'll say, because if you've been keeping up, you've been following along. But if not, Rebecca basically tricks Isaac, and Jacob helps her, and he gets the blessing over Esau. And Isaac loved Esau more, but Rebecca loved Jacob more. And so now Jacob has had to run away from home because Esau is like, I am about to do to you what our ancestors did to one another. And so Rebecca's like, not on my watch. This is my babe. Like, I'm not going to allow this to happen. And so basically, I just want to read y'all this short story between Jacob and Esau. So Jacob, right, he has left. He left and he went to work for Laban. And while working with Laban, he ends up getting Rachel and Leah. He was in love with Rachel and he wanted Rachel, right? But Laban tricked him and basically was like, you have to be with Leah first because it is uncustomary for the youngest daughter, Rachel, to be married before the oldest daughter. So he worked 7 years for Leah. He was tricked into that. But then he worked 7 more years because he really wanted Rebecca. And so the whole thing was just really sad because he didn't love Leah like he loved Rebecca, but Leah bore him so many sons, and I think technically she bore, okay, I can't remember exactly how many they did piece by piece, but through Leah, her concubine, Rachel and her concubine, the 12 tribes of Israel is born. And so now that he has Rachel and Leah, he's like, it's time for me to go, because he realizes Laban is still trying to take advantage of him. Like, he was prosperous. He was, very abundant in all the Lord was giving him, and Laban wasn't dealing fairly with him, and the Lord told him to go back. And so Jacob is so scared of Esau that, Esau is gonna mollywop him the moment that, like, he sees him. And so Jacob is he divides up the group that he's with, and he sends so many things with Leah and so many things with Rachel and the kids with them. And he sends all these gifts and these goods because he wants to soften Esau's heart. And he's thinking, like, if I send these things to him, like, perhaps he won't unalive me when we meet. And so Jacob stayed back, and he went at the end of the line, and was going to let all his possessions pass through first. And so this picks up on Genesis chapter 32 verses 24. It says, let's go back to 23. Well, let's go back to 21. So went the presents over before him, and he himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone Yes, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except for thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over, Penuel, the sun had rose up upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh until this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. His hip, y'all. His hip. Okay. So the reason why I want to use that, because like I said, Jacob is running from Esau, right? Now he's running back to make amends. And in the midst of running back, like, he has an encounter with the Lord. Now there's different references. People say that the angel of the Lord was an angel, and some people say that like it was the form of God before like we saw God as we know him. And I believe it. I believe he hands down wrestled with the Lord, and like that's why I was saying last week, you got to be a beast to be able to fight with the Lord. And then he take your hip socket out because you're so strong and you're so mighty. Like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, Lord, did you have to take his hip? But for whatever reason that it happened, okay? But I just find it impressive that like the Lord, he is so all powerful, and he is so funny to me, because he didn't have to let it happen like that. Like, come on. I am convinced if the Lord wanted to take Jacob out, he could have, but he wanted him to fight with him. Like, he wanted him to wrestle with him. And I just feel like that symbolizes so much in our lives. And so as I was reading the story and thinking about what I wanted to talk about, like, I just remember how Jacob wrestled with this angel, like all night. And he's like, I am not letting you go until you bless me. And I have felt like that in my life a lot. And I guess I feel that the most now in my life. Like, it has come to a point where I know who you are. I know the goodness of you. I know that this is not all you've promised for my life. So I'm not going to stop fighting with you for my blessings. But I think it is important to note too, like, fighting with him also means like fighting on the side of the Lord, like we are not fighting against him to get our final victory in our battles, And so even though, yes, Jacob did wrestle with the Lord for whatever reasons, I take it as when we wrestle with God, first of all, to me, it's like you're being persistent. You don't give up. You keep praying about that thing, even though you don't see it. Like, you keep working in the land and the area that he's giving you. Like, you don't just give up. But we also have to realize, like, the Lord is going to do all that he promised you to do. So when you're fighting for it, I don't want you to take this as me saying like fight against the Lord, but you fight with him. He is your champion. He's gonna make amends. But there are certain things in life, like, you gotta prove how bad you want it. You can't just say you want it and then you don't take the steps to fight for it. So the discussion tonight is fight for it. So let me get into this. One important lesson that I've started to understand more and more is that we have to fight for what we want. Now, in saying that, I don't mean putting your hands on people, because we what? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. You are right. Gold stars for you if you kept that scripture in your mind, because I'm going to keep drilling it to you. Ephesians 6:12. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and high places. So don't be out here putting your hands on people when you're trying to fight for it, okay? Because that's not what I meant. When we wrestle, we pray. We seek the Lord, we search the affairs of our heart, we declare his victories over us, we praise him, and we worship. That is all that we can do, because the battle is not ours anyways. It belongs to the Lord. Now, there are times when you do have to make physical moves, because this is a partnership. God is not going to do it all for you. He is no genie. And if you're not willing to fight for yourself, how can you get upset when you don't see the results of that you wanted? The results of what you wanted. I am about to share this story that I've briefly talked on in passing, but I've shied away from it in part because I'm not at the final destination of where I want to be. Getting there though. So I'm gonna try to look up at you because I know what I'm saying here, but so growing up, and like I said, this is about my weight loss journey. So I want to take you back to being a kid. But growing up, it was not that I was big, but I was taller than most people. I had legs for days, okay? And I did have a little tummy, but it wasn't like I was just this obese kid, because my parents were very active. And my mom, she didn't play that. Like, homegirl had me up at 5 in the morning going to the gyms. Like, not the gyms, to the park. Like, and then we did go to gyms. We did Zumba. She was a Zumba instructor. She is a Zumba instructor, because I'm claiming and believing if she wants to do it, she will be that again. But my mom, like, she has always been persistent about like staying in shape and the importance of like living a healthy life. And so when I was a kid, slowly I started to get big. I would eat like a bunch of hot chips and drink Gatorade, and my mama would be like, "You might want to slow down." And I was like, "Nope, we gonna keep this thing rolling, Roberta." Okay. And so I did start to gain weight. But even when I started to gain weight, my mom, like I said, we went and worked out and we did things to like help even my body out. But the kids in my hometown, they were just brutal. And I'm pretty sure we all have those stories, right? Like, where the kids, they just are not the nicest to you. There was this guy when I was getting in the 5th grade who I met, and I basically fell head over heels for him. I thought I knew what love was, and like, I wanted to be his girl. Like, he was this popular guy, this jock, he had the pretty eyes. It was a thing. Like, his name was close to my name. His family like lived right across the street from my family. Well, his grandma did. And so, like, for a big part of my life, I wanted to like be with this dude. And so he used to make these jokes. Like, the first time I remember our first interaction, he told me in front of like people on the bus that I looked like a gorilla. And that just shattered my confidence, because it was my first time meeting him. Like, I ain't do nothing to this kid, and I was so upset that I was attracted to somebody who would say that about me, and I went from like being attracted to him to being mad at him. But I'm not gonna even hold y'all. I ended up falling for all of him and all of his mess, because for like 4 years it was this constant back and forth with us. And around that time, my body was going through changes, because at this point I was in this was the 5th grade. Yeah, so I was in the 5th grade when this happened. And then after this, 6th grade happened, 7th, 8th grade. And then here comes high school. Now, within all of this time, like, my body is starting to develop and form. And y'all, it's just one of those things where a lot of people bullied me for my weight. Like, I had the hips. I was a little bit thicker than most girls, but it wasn't like my belly was just hanging down to the earth. Like, it wasn't like that, you know? And it was really hard for me at the time to believe that I was as pretty as, because I felt like if my stomach was not flat like this, like just, and even to me this was too much body fat. Like I had to literally be a bony stick figure in order for me to get attention. That's what I felt like, you know. I felt like that's why I didn't have boyfriends. Like that's why nobody found me attractive, because I was just this big fat black girl that nobody liked, you know. And I really was just insecure about myself so much, especially in junior high and high school. I did not feel pretty. I did not feel like, compared to the other girls and the other friends that I had, that I was, you know, beautiful, because all of them to me were seemingly smaller than me, except for a couple of friends that I had who were like either my size or a little bit bigger. And so back then, like I said, I really sought validation. I was so boy crazy. Like I just wanted to have a boyfriend, you know, because everybody else had a boyfriend and I didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want to be the only one who didn't have a boyfriend. And like, though I had guy friends, I did not have, like, you know, that special someone. And so I remember I was going to include this story here. One day I went to school and I thought, y'all, I thought I was just beautiful. Okay. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had on this yellow shirt, this collar shirt. It was tucked into like these khaki slacks that my mom had given me or brought for me, one or two. Point is, she gave them to me, and we had dress code in my high school. So khaki, like yellow, brown, green, maroon, those were like our colors. We had 7 colors. Black was one of them, and I think white, and like the pants color was like khaki or navy blue or black. Like that was it for your bottoms. It was a thing. It was a thing. Like your pants had to be so long, your skirts had to be so long. So these new generations, like, they truly are getting away with the world, because we could not have any of that. Like we tried to be pretty and to wear like skirts and stuff, but baby, they send you to the office in a hot minute, especially if you were not on their favorite list. Because once again, the smaller girls got away with them itty bitty short skirts, but us who had something, they were like, no, you're having too much. But so anyways, this particular day, yeah, I had on this shirt and some pants, and I had this yellow jacket around my waist. Now this yellow jacket, like when you put it on, basically it smooths you out and makes you look all like small and sleek. But I had it around my waist because it was a hot day. I had my hair down because back then I was flat ironing my hair. Like it was really long and pretty. I thought I was like J-Lo. It's a whole thing. But um I was going to class, and this guy in question that I had been going back and forth with, by the time I got in high school, I was done with him. Like every advance he tried, I was like, this is not happening. Because it was one of those things where not only was he putting me down and like breaking my heart, but y'all, just really quickly, he lied on me and told everybody that I was a lesbian because I wouldn't have sex with him. And then I find out behind my back that all these girls that I assume are my friend, he's messing with all of them, and they're allowing it to happen. And most of the times they didn't even tell me about what happened. He told me, or, you know, like my other friends told me. And so, you know, I had just kind of let him go. I was grateful to God too that I had let him go, because it was just unhealthy. He didn't really treat me right. I knew it wasn't like a relationship that was built off love, you know, and I could start seeing that he did not care for me like he wanted to portray that he cared for me. And so when high school rolls around, you know, we end up having some of the same classes together. And when I was getting ready to go into this particular class that day, I hear him tell this other guy that I know that I have stretch marks running down my arms. Now, I don't know if you can really see, it kind of looks like a dark spot right here, but from right here down to here, and here down to here, I do have stretch marks. Especially since I'm losing weight again, they're coming back. But it used to be really bad when I was younger, and you could see it really well on my arms. But I was super self-conscious about it because in my mind, because I had these stretch marks, I was just like this big, fat, unattractive beast, you know? And so he was whispering very loudly, like, look at Victavia's arms. She got those stretch marks on her arms. And y'all, it really, because they were laughing about it, you know, it was like a little group of them and they were laughing and they were looking at me. And it was so bad to the point where I put my jacket on and I wore my jacket for the rest of the day. And not just that day, but for so long in my high school career, I kept this yellow jacket on as a security blanket because I just felt like I was so horrible and so hideous and that my arms were so unattractive, you know. And that even upset me even more because once again, like, and I didn't realize at the time too what type of person this guy was, because we gonna circle back to him in a minute. But I didn't realize at the time that him putting me down was not about me, it was about him. And I say that because, first of all, to anybody who's young and listening to this, and even if you're older, but I feel like especially if you're in school or, you know, in college, those are some of the most important parts of your lives because peer pressure is a thing. And like people can be so cruel to you and have you thinking it's you, and it's not you, baby. It's them. It's what they're going through. It's what they lack. And I think that people can be intimidated by you and they want to hold you back and hinder you. And not even people, but the spirits that's working on those people can attack you, you know, and make you just think, oh, Sally Mae hates me. Well, no, okay, because there's just moving voices and pieces. And so I think with him, because I talked to my cousin about this, I'm trying to get to the point, I promise, but I talked to one of my cousins like maybe about a year ago, and we were just, you know, talking about high school and the good old days. And she said something that stuck to me. She told me, she was like, I always wanted to look like you. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you were always so beautiful. Like you had the long natural hair, like you had the curvy hips. And so to me, and this is something me and my best friend have had to talk about too, because y'all, when I tell you, I have had so many realizations about my life in high school, and really going back and looking at it through the lens of now as an older person, I realized so many things that, you know, like I couldn't see through at the time, but now as an adult, I see through them and I'm just like, mm. But when she told me that and I thought about this situation, I don't even think that in hindsight, he was teasing me. Like, yes, it was about my stretch marks, but I think that he wanted to break my confidence. Because that day, I felt like I was looking good. You know, I felt like I was somebody's high school sweetheart. But after I had that encounter with him, then I went from, you know, openly walking around proudly in my skin to hiding behind this jacket. And this carried with me so long. Like wearing short sleeves in general is still something that I'm like learning to get used to and love myself on, because I'm telling you, that tore me in ways. And like I just always kept jackets on me because I felt like if I swallow myself in this jacket, and if you cannot see my arms, then you'll still think I'm attractive without having to see, you know, my body. And so yes, that's also, so this guy who even said that about my arms, just to show y'all how people are, after this happens, we are sitting on this bench waiting to, you know, get on a bus and go home for the day. And y'all, this guy, he comes up to me and he's like, are you still a virgin? And ladies, this is why I tell you, men too, but especially women, keep that V, okay? Do it for me. You do it for yourself. And once again, this is not me coming after anybody who has done that, but if you're a person who's considering going down that rabbit hole, or you're considering peer pressure, don't let these people talk you out your panties, okay? Keep them on. But so this guy, he comes up to me and he's like, "Are you still a virgin?" And I'm like, "Very much so." Like, obviously you have to know this because you talk to everybody in the school, and if ain't nobody got good to say, I mean, they could have said it could have been lies, but like, you know that I'm that girl. But so he was like, "I'm gonna make this bet with you right now. I bet you $50 before we graduate, I'm gonna be your first." This guy, who is the same guy putting me down on every hand, calling me a gorilla, calling me fat, saying that I'm hooking up with girls and spreading lies about me, you're gonna have the gall and the gumption to come over here and bet me $50 that you'll be my first. And y'all, he still owes me money. But I'm just showing you how people will be, like, people can just be so funny. And so you just have to watch yourself. And if it doesn't feel good and it doesn't look good, and like, whoever you're with who's trying to get you to go down that rabbit hole, like, make sure that they're gonna love you and appreciate you outside of that moment. Because one thing I've always heard is like, the moment doesn't last as much as people say it does. And after you have that initial like feeling of it all, then like the real world kind of sets back into place. And if you know me from like other testimonies, or like my other stories about being addicted to porn, for me, even doing that act, it was the same concept. Like, it was great, it was fun and all in the midst of it, but when it was over with, that emptiness, that brokenness, like not feeling that love that you promised me and that validation. I just want you to be careful, okay? And I don't want you rushing or feeling like you have to rush because you're feeling like you're gonna miss out on something, because I am 27 and I am still, waiting on my man to do the big doohickey do and all of that. So, if you're thinking about waiting, and like I say, even if you are around my age, you wait too, because you deserve to experience that, yes, but you deserve to experience it the way that the Lord intended, with you being in love, with you being whole and one with your partner. And then you got the rest of your lives to explore it and make it better. I don't understand. And I remember really quickly, this one girl was like, you don't want to test drive it? Like, how you gonna test drive it after your wedding? Like, I gotta test drive my car. She's saying this as a high schooler, first of all. And I know that the culture is getting so much worse, but it was at the time too, I took it to heart and I was a little bit contemplating on it, because I was starting to realize that my types were not just like Black people. And so there was a whole stereotypical thing about that, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But the point is, so what? You can't test drive it. You got the rest of your life to test drive it. And when you do that act, you're not doing it just to test drive it. You're doing it because you're giving yourself to somebody, and in return, you're allowing them the benefits of having you and you having them. It's not just sex, like, it's more than that, it's so much more than that. And so don't have sex just to have sex. Like, you should be indulgent in all of that stuff because there's love behind it, because you're trying to give pieces of yourself to someone that nobody else has from you, that nobody else experiences but your better half. And so please don't just be out here trying to pop it for a real one to pop it for a real one, because how is that real one going to treat you when it's over? Like, are y'all still going to be together? And once again, I'm not judging anybody who chooses to do that, because we all have our cross to bear, and I don't want you to feel like I'm judging you or putting you down. But for me, I don't know, marriage is sacred, and like I say, one thing I always felt is I felt like I had to be pressured to do things like that and to conform to that because everybody else was doing it around me. And it's not true. You don't have to get into all of that if you don't want to get into all of that. So this is just me trying to reassure somebody, like, if you want to wait, then wait. You're not, and if you do die, you just be like the virgins that was prepared, that had their oil in their lamp, but just don't even worry about that, because when it's supposed to happen in its timing, it's gonna happen, and God's timing is so much better, and so I know you're like, ooh, but I may really want this person, and ooh, like the hormones are raging, but baby, suffer this for a little bit and you'll feel so much better. I'm telling you what I know. But so back to this story, and even back to, that situation, one thing that I was big on was eating. I ate when I was bored. I'll do it now. Let some snacks be around me. I won't even be hungry. I'll just be bored and I'll be like, this look like it tastes good. Let's eat. Or if I was sad, I would eat. If I was mad, I would eat. Like, no matter what I felt, I just ate, because in my mind, the food wasn't gonna leave me. Like, the food is not disrespecting me. It's making me feel good. Like, it's giving me comfort. And I didn't even realize at the time, like, I was committing acts of gluttony. Like, I wouldn't just straight out eat myself into like a food coma, but sometimes I did. And sometimes I just ate so much that that's all I wanted to do was eat. And so after I graduated high school and I went into college, it was one of those things where peer pressure had came all time high. I was away from home and I just kept eating, and I didn't really have anybody to tell me like, you might want to slow down on the carbs and calories, baby girl. It wasn't like that. And excuse me, I remember when I first came home and my mom saw me and she was like, no, like, this is not the life for you. And so I tried to do the diets in college. I tried to do the diets. I tried to work out, but working out was a thing. Like, if I went by myself, it was hard to stay motivated. It was hard to really, all they really had was like an elliptical and a treadmill and a bike, and it was hard to really feel motivated, to do those things. And even though I was doing that, I was still eating, bad greasy food all day when I did eat, because it helped me feel better. I would go to the store, stock up on snacks, especially like my junior and senior year. I consumed so much ice cream and junk food that it was crazy. And it wasn't like, because some days I would just snack, but it was the snacks that I was consuming that was like taking it out of me. And so one thing I tried was these like green smoothie diets, where you would drink a smoothie like in the morning for breakfast, lunch, and then dinner, and you couldn't basically eat anything. You just had to drink smoothies. And then it went to like, if you want to variate it, then yeah, okay, you can drink a smoothie and eat like a salad or something like that. But y'all, I would like go weeks just on green smoothies to look good for a weekend and then eat it all back when I finally got food. Or like, I go Monday through Friday drinking these smoothies to look good, and on the weekend just eat. But I got so burnt out on it, and just so tired, and the smoothies were nasty to me. Okay, kale, people love kale. I forever will dislike kale unless it's fixed up and disguised in a way that I don't know. I do not like kale. Drop me some spinach, drop me some romaine, okay? Drop me some iceberg, but do not bring your kale over here in this chat. It is not welcome. It is not welcome. And it was a hard thing with the kale, okay? It tasted bitter. It was bitter with the fruit. The fruit was a sweet. It was a thing. And so, that was my life. And around this time, I was like 296 pounds, right? And so I forgot to add this in here, but in high school, I weighed about like 185. I didn't weigh over 190. I fluctuated between like 180 and 190. And so when I got in college over the years, I went from that starting weight to like 296. So instead of like the freshman 15, I gained like the freshman 35. It was bad. Truly, it was bad. And so And I was even telling my mom at one point, like, I didn't even think that I was gaining weight. Y'all, I just thought that the washing machine was shrinking my clothes. That's how much in denial I was because, people have been telling me since high school, like, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. But now I'm actually starting to become bigger, and my mindset was just so messed up about it. And so after college, I came back home. I was still dealing with like my own depression and just feeling bad. But once again, I was with my mom and she did Zumba. And so that kind of helped me shed some weight. And, I was starting to look good, like baby girl central. But then I went to Houston to stay with my grandma. And at first, I wasn't in the gym. And so I just ate. And that's just kind of where it came to. I was working at this daycare. I was eating because, life was just going wrong. Emotionally, I still felt like I was missing something. I was unhappy at my job. And like at daycares and preschools, whatever you want to call them, daycares, they sometimes, if you're at a good school, they'll give you snacks, or like if they have soda, the teachers can have a soda, or like if they have extra chips, like the teachers can eat those snacks. And so I would, like I would tear up some food in a quick minute. And I just started gaining more and more weight. And like I'm telling y'all, I was so unhappy. My life was not looking like I wanted it to look. And I did try to go to a gym. Like I was walking the block, but once again, it was one of those things like when I consumed food, or yeah, when I consumed food, it was the amount in which I was consuming it that it was just bad. And I just feel like I was so stressed out, and that also aided to me gaining weight. I didn't drink water like that. Like I said, I was drinking soda and just juice and unhealthy stuff, and like I would get shakes after work, and it was bad. And so from 2020, well, really 2019 to 2022, it got bad. Okay, it got very bad. And so when I was at this last job that I talk about a lot, it was also a preschool, and I was a lead teacher there. So this starts in 2021 to 2022. So I end up meeting this girl, right? And like we become friends or whatever, and she's smaller than me, but she's kind of like the cool girl, and she was really fun to be around. When it first started off, she was very fun to be around. I thought that she would be my best friend because like we liked the same stuff and we liked to do the same things. And without diving too deep into that as well, just truly be careful with who you let in your corner and how fast, because in my mind we were getting close because we were the same kind of people, but out of her mouth she confessed this, and she wasn't even intending. I don't think that she understood what she was saying to me, but I took it as God was revealing this to me in the simplest of ways, and a lot of understanding clicked. But basically, she was not my friend because we were alike. She was my friend because she studied me and she knew what I liked and she knew how to get in my head. I'm gonna just put it like that. Maybe one day I'll go in and do a talk on that, because it gets really deep, y'all. When people are trying to get something from you or want to be in your corner, that stuff is real, okay? These shows that we see on TV, like those things are real. They say that they're not, but read between the lines. So anyways, me and her at the time, we were friends. We were really cool. I'd go to her house, stay with her, the whole shebang. I loved her dogs. It was a thing, like we were cool. And so it was like springtime. Yeah, when we had met this girl, we don't tell names. We don't tell names. I was about to tell names, but we met this girl, and she was in college at the time, and she looked like how I wanted to look, and more or less was like, she was a Coke bottle, like she sat up right, and then her hips was a little hipped, but like she was in sports. She worked out. She had the long hair, and she was Caucasian. So once again, in my mind, if I looked like this kid, life would just be peaches and greens. And this was just a couple of years ago that I still had this mindset. So that's why I say never feel like I'm judging you, because my mindsets have been faulty for a long time. And so I was sitting with this lady, my friend at the time, and we were talking, and we used to have this thing at work called work wives. It was something that was introduced to us by a lady who was giving this seminar, but she was saying how like her best friend and her co-teacher was like her co-wife, and like they did things together or whatever. And so I was like, well, I want to make this a thing, so I would call my co-teacher my wife, like she was my wife. And so like, and even that to me shouldn't have been a thing, because we was confusing our kids. They were like, your wives, like you're married, like how are you married and you don't live together? Because the kids wanted to know, because 2 + 2 is 54 to them, and we're not making sense. And so it was harmless at the time, but just know, I feel like that played into a lot more that we are not here for. But just be careful how you call yourself and who you let call you things. And yeah, so one day we were talking, we were going back and forth, and I noticed that like when this other girl came around, the attention that my co-teacher gave me was not the same that she would give this girl. It was almost like because she was prettier and Caucasian, like she got the best of the interactions. And so I was kind of confronting my teacher about it, because when she wasn't around, and it was just us in the class, then all of a sudden she wanted to be buddy buddy and my best friend. But like, I'm the type of person, when I first walk in the morning, I'll say good morning, like hello or something like that. But my co-teacher had got to a point where her and the other people in the room would not say it to me when I walked in. And I got tired of being a nice girl, of always walking in like, good morning. Like, you don't always want to be like that when people don't treat it with respect, or like at least give you enough courtesy to say it back to you. And so it was kind of some tension there. And one morning we were talking about it, and I was just jokingly like, don't talk to me about it, because you don't want me to be your wife anyway. Like, go talk to this girl since you're all up under her. And this girl's response to me was, nah, she's cute and all, she's cool and all, but I don't want somebody like that. Somebody who's gonna, no, she said, I don't want somebody like that. She looks like she goes to the gym and works out all the time. I need me a fat bitch. But she said the female dog word, but she said, I need me a fat bitch, someone who's gonna eat with me all day. And basically saying that was somebody that she wanted around. And so that kind of just broke my heart, like it was hard to hear that, because to hear, I thought we were friends because of all my great qualities, but to be told like one of the main reasons a person wants to stay around me is my ability to eat all the time, that just broke my heart. Like, if my confidence wasn't already faltering, I feel like that was kind of like the hammer in the coffin. That was the final anything of anything. Like, I just could not live the same life anymore. Like, I wanted to prove a point. Like, I am not that person, and I'm not gonna let you label me as being something so dehumanizing, because nothing you said about this was a compliment. Everything that you said about this was a failed compliment, and it went down the moment you opened your mouth. And so after that, I was like, no. And so I got it with me. I bought this 1.5 gallons of water. Y'all, I'm telling y'all. So I didn't do it today because I was feeling bad, but most of the times I drink this. Monday through Sunday, I drink a full one of these, because it just truly helps my body feel so much better, and it flushes me out. And I don't drink soda that much. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that I don't, and I'll get more into that in the closing. But yeah, I started out drinking one of those a day, and then I try to cut back my food intake. Like if I ate a meal, because sometimes what I would do is I would take stuff to work to eat and then turn back around and eat like lunch. Or if lunch came in, I would eat 2 plates equivalent to the 1 plate that the kids have. And so I stopped doing all that. I started drinking water. I would start walking, or if I could walk, sometimes I would walk, and lift weights on the back porch with like my dad. I did things like that. But so when I went to Korea, I had kind of been lifting weight a little bit, and my mom always jokes with me that that was like the kickstart of my losing weight journey. Because when I came back home, my mom is like, "Who is this child in front of me? Like, this is not the kid that went to Korea." Because y'all, when I tell you, I had shedded so much weight from stress and anxiety and lack of food in Korea that was a diet in itself, an unintended diet. Like, when I tell y'all, I was scraping the heck up out of that pho at that airport. Like, this man, I had chopsticks in one hand and like the little spoon in the other hand. And this Asian man was looking at me, and he was laughing because I was like, that was like my first real good meal of that whole trip, y'all. It was rough. And so when I came back home, and I'm crying and I'm trying to search and seek myself, for me, for the Lord, I'm trying to get it together and really figure out, how I want to live my life. And so before this, let me pause and say, because I missed the part, around the time before I went to Korea, I had to get physicals or like make sure I was healthy. And it was really just time for me to visit the doctor and like see what was going on. My periods, they were fluctuated. I didn't have one consistently every month. I'd have one, and then like 5 months later, it'd be like surprise, or I may have one for 2 months, and then for 3 months it was gone. And it was always super, super heavy. Like, when I tell y'all it's Shark Week for a reason, like murder scenes times 5,000. That's all I'm gonna say. But so when I went to the doctor, and I'm anemic, so that also was really my body fighting against me, because I didn't have the iron, because I was losing so much weight and I was so big, like it was just a thing. My body has truly held up. And so when this lady was weighing me at the doctor, my weight was 316 pounds. Yes, I weighed 316 pounds, and I could not believe it. Like, I knew I was getting big, but that was kind of like I I felt so sad. I was disappointed in myself, really, that I had let myself get here. And of course I wanted to throw the pity party and say like how it happened and all these things that were piling up against me. But when I was coming back, like I said, from Korea, and when I really had that moment of falling on my face before God and like really looking in the mirror at who I was, I realized that there was just so much brokenness there, and so much hurt and so much pain and so much seeking other people's validations and other people's wants for my lives and other people's acceptance of me. And I just didn't want to be like that, like I wanted to feel good in my body. I wanted to move around and not feel tired, like mentally, I wanted to get it together. Like, it just felt like I had to make a change for myself to be 316 pounds. Like, I just couldn't have it happen. I was tired of playing these games with myself, and I asked my best friend, I'm like, look, if I work out, will you be my accountability partner? Because she lives far away. And she's like, yeah, like, let's work out together. So we started these workout plans, and y'all, at first it was rough. I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? Endurance was out of here for anything, for weights, for cardio. It was busted. And then it came a point where even though I was doing like strength training, cardio wise, your girl couldn't run a minute without like about to bust a lung. And so I started in the morning times, I would start walking my block, and then at night times, I would do a workout. But then it started changing because I asked my mom, like, work out with me because she used to drag me into her workouts faithfully, and so I was like, let me return the favor, bucko. And so yeah, we would start working out together. So then mom was blessed with this elliptical, and so now I use her elliptical, and I do work out twice a day. And I'm not saying that you have to work out twice a day. It is just what I want to do. And so it was one of those things where, like, while I was working out, I was trying to think about like what type of body type I wanted and why I was doing this, why I wanted to look good. And so I had this dream in high school, and I had seen myself, like an older version of myself, and my hair was like black and blonde. And in this dream, this police officer had pulled me over for what, I don't know, but I saw myself there, and immediately I went into another part of my dream where I was in a different area, a different room, and I was about to get ready to do something big, and I was looking at myself, and y'all, I was the size I wanted to be. And so in high school, even then, like, I always prayed to the Lord, like, oh Lord, let me be like this size and let me look like this. And first of all, in high school, I looked so close to what I wanted to look like, but I allowed so many people to lie to me and transform the way I thought about myself. And it's so very careful. I mean, it's so very crucial that you are careful with who you let in your ear, who you let speak life unto you, who you let tell you who you are, because people will break you. And it's not even those people, it's those spirits of rejection, of fear, of self-loathing, that people project onto you. And when those spirits and those negative voices get in your head, it's hard to hear the light of day. You have so many voices talking, and you don't even know what voice is the true voice, what voice is the real voice. So you really have to be careful with people, man, and who you let in your corner. And fighting for my weight loss journey has been the hardest thing I have did in my life. Like, to me, this has been as hard as my addiction, breaking my addiction. And it's because, like, you have to want it, and every day is not easy. Some days all I want to do is go and eat 15 cheeseburgers, but I can't do that. And so I too started realizing, if I would have lost weight back when I thought I wanted it, it wouldn't have even been for me. It would have been to have the boyfriends, because I felt like I had to be a certain size to be valuable. Okay, like, I was so twisted in my mindset, because media and Hollywood portrays all these small skinny ladies as like the defining bill of health and like the beauty. And beauty is, first of all, and this is what I've had to learn too, you are not beautiful because of the characteristics of your outside. It's great, it's lovely. There's even a scripture about like how working out, like, it's little game, because those things, I had to staple it in here because I wasn't prepared to talk about that scripture. But it doesn't really benefit you to be beautiful if internally you have a bad heart, or like a bad personality, or you're mean. Like, because yeah, you're pretty, but on the inside you're a little flawed. And I mean, we are all flawed in general, but I don't know, I hope this makes sense. You cannot be narcissistic or be so stuck up with your head in the clouds because you're quote unquote beautiful, and you think it's okay to treat people bad and to be mean and nasty to people, because that's not okay. And for me, I just realized, like, in all my life, I can see how, especially like from 2019 to 2022, I was building up this facade of a person that I wanted to believe I was. And y'all, it was so shocking to go back and look at myself, and like a couple of these videos that I made, like singing to the camera and stuff, and I'm like, you're cringy. Like, it's worse than me even starting YouTube, because I was trying to be this person that I was not. And I do believe, a lot of my characteristics have stayed the same. I've always been sweet, shy, sensitive. I've always been told like how optimistic and bubbly I am. But I wanted to be like this overdid cool version of myself, I guess you could say. I don't know. I just for myself could look at me and tell, like, you're not being your best self. You're not being authentic. Like, you're being fake. You're not living this life that you want everybody to see. And when I finally started losing weight and realizing, like, I want this for me, I want this because I want to look in the mirror and say, like, you did that. I never wanted the weight loss surgery for me personally, because I just get super freaked out thinking about people opening me up and putting things inside of me, like the lap band. I was very scared that, like, that could go wrong. And then I wanted the gastro bypass, but when they were talking about rerouting your organs, I was like, okay, but can I still have kids? Because I don't want y'all messing up my reproductive system. Like, too bad where I can't have kids. Like, I even had a kidney stone, and I was like, you cannot cut this out of me, do the laser. But the Lord miraculously took that away, so we're not going to even complain about that. But the point is, the more I started working out this time, it wasn't just me working out. I had started fasting, I had started praying, I had rededicated myself back to the Lord. Like, I wanted to know the Lord. I wanted to finally learn myself and know myself and follow the Lord. And truly, when the Lord started helping me deal with who I was becoming as a person, then that's when it felt like all the weight shedded off, because it was the mental baggage as well as the physical baggage. Like, you can't have one without the other. So if you're just working out just to work out and stay shape and to stay in shape and stay fit, while that's great and all, just remember you're doing it to better yourself, not to attain appearances. Hopefully you're doing it because you want to feel good on the side. And, like, yes, even if it is to, like, still look good, losing weight is so much more than the act itself, because I have seen stories of people who will lose weight and, like, be professional, like, bodybuilders and look amazing, and they still feel empty on the inside. Like, they still feel lost. And so make sure that everything you do is because you want to do it, because it's gonna better you and help you out. And like I say, I've always wanted to be, smaller than what I was. I really want to be back the size that I was, but I have realized too, to enjoy every stage that I'm in. I truly want to enjoy every single stage of my life that I'm in. And so I want to read this. Oh yeah, and tell y'all about this last thing. So I want to read these two scriptures to y'all, because these really helped me. And so, basically, the first one I want to read is John 14:19. Now, everybody should know the scripture very well, but I want to include this in here because it stuck to my heart. But so John 14:19 says, I'm going to start at 18. 14:18. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world seeth me no more. But ye see me, because I live. Ye shall also live. Now, this is Jesus talking, and this really stuck out to my heart when I was reading it, because the Lord is saying, like, I'm going to comfort you. I'm going to be there with you. Like, I'm not going to leave you alone. And y'all, truly, He did not leave me alone in this journey. Like, this has been something for my whole life that I've been fighting for. Except even outside of, like, the weight loss, the acceptance for myself, to love myself and to support and cheer on myself. Like, I have fought so long to be here and to be able to look on the camera and be like, girl, you are beautiful, and truly believe what I say. Because if nobody else think it, baby, I think that I am a dime piece. Okay, I feel like I am so pretty, and my mom's like, don't make me pop your neck, and I'm like, girl, you gonna have to take both sides, okay? Because we are in our glow up area. I never thought a glow up was possible for me. I prayed for it. I prayed a lot for it, but even though I prayed for it, it wasn't until I actually took the steps to become better at myself, that like the Lord gave it to me and allowed it to happen. Because you can't just be around here talking about, oh, I want this and I want that, but you don't ever work for it. No, you gotta work for it. So the second verse I want to read to y'all is James 2. We're gonna take it back to James 2 from verses 14 to 19. What doeth profit, my brethren, that a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needed to the body, what doeth it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man will say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Thou believest that there is one God, thou dost well. The devils also believe, and will tremble. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? And so the reason why I wanted to read that is because, like I just said, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to get to this version of myself that I'm at right now. It is not my final form, but it is getting there. It is a form that I've always wanted to be at. And so praying about it and crying about it and wanting and believing that it was possible, but just hoping for it wasn't getting me anywhere, because I had faith, but I didn't have the works. I was still sitting around here not doing nothing with my life, just like letting the weight accumulate. Hey, that rhymed. But, I wasn't really taking it serious. And it wasn't until I started taking it serious and trying to figure out what in my life was so messed up and figure out a better way to live this life that, it became better for me. So as I come to the close, this is my testimony, but I really want to staple in here that Jesus did this for me, with me. We've done this together, but truly I feel like the Lord has just done tremendous things in my life, because to be that big and to be able to lose all that weight naturally, just by, like I said, we don't even do hard things. We have this trainer on YouTube named Sydney, I don't want to mess her name up, but it's like Houdy, something like that. But her name is Sydney. She's amazing. Maybe I'll link a picture in here of her, but we do her. And she has some really great training programs. And like I say, I get on the elliptical, and some days I dance, I do dance covers. I love K-pop. I find myself doing that or creating my own dances. But I found the joy in my life again, and I owe it all to the Lord, because had he not set me down and been like, look at yourself, take a good look at yourself, and had I not been enough, not even about my age, I had not been honest with myself to say, you are broken and you are going down a bad path, I would have never been able to transform. And I'm just so grateful to God that he stayed with me and that he allowed me to fight for this version of me that I wanted for so long. I feel like I finally found myself, and in finding myself, I've rediscovered and truly found the Lord in ways I never even knew possible. There's a song and it says, I didn't know I could have friends like you. And it's so true. I never would have imagined that the one to be my most trusted and best friend would be the Lord, because I didn't think he loved me like this. I didn't think we was rocking like this, but his joy has been so great. His peace has been so amazing. And truly, y'all, the Lord has been my best friend. He's held my hand when I've been sad, when I've given up. How many times he's always been there like, no, we're gonna keep this going. Like, you can't keep giving up. Like, trust me, abide with me, and I will live in you. And I truly feel like the only reason I do glow or I do look so good to myself is because I'm not even looking at myself. I'm looking at the Lord. I'm looking at who He is. I'm letting Him transform me inside and out. When I see myself, I see the Lord. And that helps me in every area of my life, because if I can see Him in me, that means that I am doing something right. I am walking according to His statutes, and His only statutes is to love the Lord and to love your brothers and sisters. But even His righteousness and the things He requires of me, and like personally, just everything we walk out together, I feel like I'm learning and getting an understanding of. And I just feel like our relationship is blossoming. And so I did have to fight for it. And I just want to encourage you, you are going to have to fight for what it is you want. And there's more things that I'm fighting for in my life. Like, I still have other impending battles that I'm, believing and trusting in the Lord for, and trying to do my part, to do the part that I can do, and believing that, like, because once again, we can do so much, but the Lord blesses us and gives us He gives to us freely, not even by our works. But just know, like, the Lord blesses you because you are His child. I said this before. It's not nothing by what you can ever do, but I'm just saying, like, dreams He's giving you, or business ideas He's giving you, or yes, even losing weight, you have to work at those things. You can't just be like, okay, Father, this is what I want, so do it for me. Like, no, like, yeah, He'll do it for you, but you have to be responsible. You have to be accountable. You have to show Him, like, listen, I'm gonna meet you where it's at. Like, you tell me to do this, I'm gonna do everything I can, and then let you control the rest, because I can only do the parts you tell me to do, and everything else is but in your timing, in your wants, in your will. And so just please be encouraged to fight for it. Don't be afraid. Like, the Lord is with you on every hand. He's not gonna leave you alone. He's not gonna forsake you. He promised to be with you. And my God, our Father, He is not a man who's gonna lie or, pull Himself away from you. There's this song called Pieces, and it says, you don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. And that's so true. Like, when the Lord looked at you, made you, died for you, He didn't die to be like, girl, I'm gonna give you this piece today and that piece tomorrow, and boy, I'm gonna give you this piece next week. No, He wanted to give us all of Him freely, so much so that He came down and became a human and died for you. Like, and that always makes me so emotional, but like, He does not hold Himself back for you. Like, He is in love with you, and He is totally committed to you 110%. So be totally committed to Him 110%. And even when you can't always keep it 100 with Him, keep it something with Him. Be honest to Him about how you're feeling. Be honest to Him about how your day went, because He saw the same day that you had. He was there with you. He knows the thoughts you felt about that day. So open your mouth and be vulnerable enough to tell your Father, your best friend, your husband, how you are feeling. Let Him help you search your heart and clear out your heart, so that way when you see Him and you read these stories in the Bible, you understand His goodness and His grace, and that is never failing. And there is nothing you could ever do in this world that will make God stop loving you. He will never take His love from you, because if He did, and if He would, He wouldn't be living up to His word. And once again, He would not die for you only to stop loving you. It's not possible. It's not possible. It doesn't fit. He's not gonna die for you if He's gonna stop loving you or take His love from you even for a second. The Lord will always love you, has always loved you, and will always continue to love you. No matter what you do, He loves you because He loves you, because He is God, and He chose to love humans. He chose to create us and to love us where we are always, for all the days of our lives. And even after that, He just loves you. He loves you so, so much. So I know that mood wise, I probably was like down a little bit. But like I said, today was just a rough day. Okay, mentally, emotionally, it was a rough day. And I'm still not feeling like 120, but I do feel 100. Hello. And I really wanted to do this. You know, I didn't want to wait. I really want to talk about it because I was very excited to talk about the story, because I don't really talk about my weight loss much. And I guess because on one hand, I've been waiting to get to like the really big drastic before and after pictures, but my dad was like, I don't know, maybe you kind of want to go back and talk about this, you know, like you probably can help out a lot of people. And so just listen to me. If you are one who is a little bit bigger than other people, first of all, realize it's okay to be bigger than other people, because that's your body type. Okay, we don't all have the same body types, and we were not all meant to be the same. Now, I'm not saying that to like give you a pass and tell you to go eat up a whole store, because listen, I want to eat up a whole store too. You know, yes, I drink the water. Yes, I work out. But if I want some chili cheese fries, I'm going to eat some chili cheese fries, because I've worked this hard for my chili cheese fries. You know, like if I want a honey bun, yes, I'm going to eat some honey bun, and I might slap some ice cream on it. Let it be the right day. I'm going to enjoy myself. Like, yes, I will drink a soda every now and then. And I don't know. I know for some people diets do work, so I'm not going to tell you not to diet if diet doesn't work for you. But the way I felt internally about it is I want to work out so hard without having to give up what I completely love. Like, I still want to indulge in those things when I get to indulge in them, but also realize it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. Like, you don't have to eat Little Debbie every day of the week. Eat Little Debbie on Saturday, okay? And leave every other day for maybe eating something else. But point is, you know, if you want to do it, just do it. Because like I say, there is no secrets. Like, I didn't go and get on Jenny Craig or get a bunch of Slim Fast. Now, I have in the past, but this time I just didn't want to do that. I really just wanted to learn how to balance out my life and live a healthy life for myself. And so most of the time that just looks like cooked meals, you know, and oven fried chicken instead of grease fried chicken, you know, and things like that, and baked foods. And, you know, like I say, just a little bit of healthier choices compared to what I used to normally eat. But if I sometimes want to go out to eat, I will. Moderation is key, and you know what's best for your body. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you don't do all those things, because it may work for you. It may work better for you. You know what goal you want to accomplish. But for me, this was purely a life change thing. I didn't want just no quick fix solutions. I wanted to build a life around this, around being healthier and feeling better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything, you know. And like I say, I didn't want to compromise the things that I love in this quest of like losing weight, because I've done that before and it didn't leave me satisfied. It left me feeling bitter, and I didn't want to do it. And so, you know, just be encouraged. Whatever it is you're fighting for, fight for it, because you deserve to fight for it. This is your life, and you only get this one life to live. And so live it to the fullest and do everything that you want to do because you want to do it, not because anybody else desires it of you or wants that for you. You live your life and chase your dreams and fight for what it is you want to fight for. And if the Lord told you you can do it and that you can have it and that you can be it, then be it and do it and have it, because it's your life that the Lord is living through you. This is your testimony. This is your time. This is for you. And like, while it is not, because, okay, it is about us, but it's really about God. And it's about him because he's showing his life through us. He chooses to use you to testify in that specific way. And only you can do what you do, how you do it. And he put those gifts in your hands for a reason. Now, if you don't want to get to it and get on a good foot, somebody else will do it. He will use other people. But even saying that, sometimes it made me feel like, you know, just know you are special to God, and he does want to use you, and he wants to speak through your life. But if you keep playing around and just sitting back and being timid and shy, you're going to be sad when you open your eyes and see somebody else doing the same thing that you wanted to do. The only difference is they made the choice to do it and you didn't. And so, like I say, I'm a very nervous and shy person, okay? I have been. We're getting better at all of that. But like I told you, YouTube has been a journey for me in itself. Losing weight, feeling confident like this on camera has been a journey in itself. But I did not want to stay there and self-loathe forever and be in that pit for the rest of my life, because I deserve good times too. I deserve to see the promises of the Lord, and not by anything that I've done, but because he promised me and he told me I was an heir, and he told me to live this life and to do these things. And because my Father gave me permission, I'm gonna go out and do the things he told me I can do. So that way, when it is time for me to see him, not even him saying, "My well done, my good and faithful servant," that's gonna be the highlight. But even just the joy of knowing, like, I truly followed the Lord and I live my life without regrets, without anything. To me, that is the biggest victory, because truly I've trusted him in everything that I'm doing, even when it's scary, even when I'm like, that's controversial, Father. He knows my heart and he's with me, and I just want to see where this thing goes. So I know I get so caught up in these like rampage rants, but really, I care about you, and I know what it's like to be stuck in fear and anxiety, and to just feel bad about yourself and feel like you're never gonna advance past that land. You know, I know what it's like to be overweight. I know what it's like to feel so unattractive, to feel like you are that ugly friend. I know what that's like to not be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I love you," or like, "Okay, I see you looking good today, Miss Chocolate." Like, I know what that hurt feels like, and I don't desire, and I've always wanted to stand up for people who feel like that and just talk to you and look at you and say, first of all, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful in the skin you're in, and you have to learn to appreciate yourself at every stage, because even when I was 316, I was beautiful. Girl, please, you ain't never seen nobody killed her, okay? You have to believe those things, because self-love, that's internal. That's the things you love about yourself internally, not just because, you know, you a size 2. Those things are internal, and you have to love yourself before anything else gets better in your life. You really have to love and appreciate yourself. So please be so gentle on your mental and seek the Lord. And if you're scared, if you're nervous about starting this fight, whatever it is, just do it. I mean, I know that sounds so cliche when people say it, but honestly, you're not going to feel better or get more confident in it unless you practice it and you keep going for it and doing it and doing it and doing it. 2022, at the end of 2022, really, I started working out, and it's 2024 now. And that's been like a year of dedication, okay? A year and a half of dedication and just hard work and consistent grinding. But look at me on the other side. Like, the fight was worth it. So please just be encouraged. Fight for yourself. Fight for your dreams. Hold on to the Lord. Realize everything that you're doing, it should be to better you. Not because other people want it of you, but because you want it for yourself. And if other people are trying to influence your thoughts, what did God say do? Because his voice matters the most. So what did he tell you to do? And just go from there. But thank you so much for rocking it out with me. Thank you for listening to me and for just allowing me to tell y'all my story. Because look, I know some shots was fired when I said what I did about homegirl, but that's what she told me. She wanted a fat girl who ate. And I was just like, man, the disrespect is real. And then it was even worse because, once again, she is a white lady, okay? And for her to say that to me, a black lady, at the time the offense was had on a lot of multitude of levels. But thank the Lord that he has given me that scripture. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, because, you know, I don't blame her for that, but I needed to hear that because it kickstarted everything about this moment. Hearing somebody else talk about me like that was just unacceptable. And, you know, while no, I don't care now what people have to say about me, at that time I did care. And one thing I don't ever want is to leave a legacy or something like that. Like, I don't ever want people to be able to define me like that. Because even then, I was so much more than that. Like, what about all my good qualities, you know? And like I say, it was just one of those things where I was tired of feeling like that. I was tired of looking at myself like that. And I was tired of letting other people look at me like that. Okay. It was just not happening. But yes, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please kiss me with the like button. Please comment. Please tell me about something you're fighting for. Or something you have fought for and got the victory over. Please hit the bell for notifications when I post. Please subscribe. We got so much going on the channel. But yes, just please be encouraged. It's your life, okay? You don't move on nobody else's beat or tune but the Lord's. And as long as He has said that it's okay, you can do whatever it is you want to do, because this is your life and He gave it to you. And so live your life and live it to the fullest. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm rambling. I've said the same points over and over now. But yes, please always do remember that the Lord does love and bless you. May He keep you. I love you. I believe in you. And I hope whenever you view this, you have an incredible day or an amazing night. Goodbye, guys.